Hi, do you want to raise a bilingual baby? Amazing, but maybe you're wondering, how do I even start? Do I need to do something special? But hang on, my baby isn't even talking yet. I get it. That's why in this video, I'll share 9 super practical and actionable tips to help you kickstart your child's bilingual journey from day 1 without the need for any fancy apps, flashcards, or anything complicated. All you need is your baby and yourself and a whole lot of love and patience. I've been raising my own children to be trilingual since 2016, and my goal is to help you do the same. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayi. I'm a mum raising 2 trilingual children in Chinese, Russian and English. I'm also a professional translator and language educator, and I am here to help you along your journey of raising multilingual children. So I decided to make this video after one of my most loyal subscribers shared in a comment that she has recently given birth to her baby and would like some tips on how to talk to newborns. Firstly, congratulations to my lovely subscriber and to all the other new mums out there. I thought this would be a highly relevant subject, which is why I have put together a list of 9 tips to help you kick off your child's lifelong linguistic journey in the best way possible from day 1. And yes, you can absolutely start speaking to your child in your target language from birth. In fact, the earlier the better. You can never start too soon. As you'll see throughout this video, there's one overriding theme. The key is to talk to your child a lot. Babies need massive amounts of linguistic input to develop fluency in multiple languages. Why is this so important? According to the critical period hypothesis, early exposure to multiple languages makes learning them more natural and effortless compared to picking up a new language later in life. I think many of us can relate to that. In fact, some studies indicate that the first 3 years are when the brain is most adaptable for acquiring multiple languages effortlessly. The more rich, meaningful input your baby gets, the better their chances of developing bilingualism later down the line. So if you've been wondering, can I really talk to my newborn in my target language? The answer is a resounding yes. So now let's dive into my top 9 tips for raising a bilingual baby from birth. And meet my pretend baby, Kiki! My daughter kindly agreed to let me borrow Kiki for this video as I couldn't get my hands on a real baby. Thank you, Kiki. 谢谢. What animal do you think she is? A pig? A cat? Not sure? Right now, let's pretend she's a baby. Let's get started. Tip 1. Narrate your day. If there's one thing I tell new parents is this: talk to your baby all the time. Even if your baby doesn't understand a word yet, their brain is working hard to absorb all the sounds, tones, and rhythms of language. So whether you're making a cup of tea, putting the washing on, or getting ready for bed, narrate what you're doing. So instead of silence, you can say to your baby, all right, let's put on your socks. One sock, now the other one. Nice and warm. Okay, let's zip up your jacket. Oh, look at that big red bus outside. Beep, beep. I know, it can feel really weird, maybe even a bit silly. It can feel really weird talking to someone who can't say a word back. And when it's a newborn, they can't even babble back yet. Babbling doesn't usually start until the 4-month mark. So yeah, the best response you can hope for is a burp. But rest assured that your baby is listening, even if they are just staring at you, lying there like a blob. Over time, they will start making connections between words and the world around them. This tip is super practical because there's no preparation involved, no planning involved. You don't need extra time to do this. You don't need any extra tools. You're already doing these activities, so all you need to do is just add words to the activities, okay? Tip number 2, sing to your baby. Okay, I love this tip because we can all take the opportunity to unleash our inner karaoke queen without the fear of being judged. Yes, that's right, your baby is guaranteed to be your biggest fan. They will love every off-key moment of it. Music is an incredible tool for language learning because babies love rhythms and melodies. Start with simple songs and nursery rhymes in your target language. In English, for example, think Twinkle Twinkle, The Wheels on the Bus, or any other song similar to those ones. It should be one that you like and don't mind singing over and over again. Babies love repetition and don't get sick of hearing the same song over and over again, trust me. In fact, I've made a separate video about a breakdown I had as a new mum while singing Zoom 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 for the gazillionth time. Check it out if you can relate to that. Anyway, so just sing nursery rhymes to your child in a target language at any given opportunity, and your baby will be effortlessly absorbing the words and linguistic structures of the target language. If you get stuck, YouTube is full of baby-friendly songs in every language. Play them in the background and sing along. Tip number 3, read every day. Reading isn't just for when your baby starts talking. It's one of the best things you can do from birth. Now, I've once read an article about a mum who started showing her baby vocabulary flashcards the day the baby was born to give them a head start. That's not the kind of reading I'm talking about. Find some lovely picture books or storybooks and read to your child, and later, once they can sit up or at least hold their head up, you can read with your child. You might be thinking, but my baby won't sit still for a book. That's completely fine, that's normal. Babies are not meant to sit still. In the beginning, they'll mostly just want to chew the book, throw it, or just stare at it, and that's okay. The key is making books part of daily life. Start with high contrast books. Black and white images are fantastic for newborns as their vision isn't so good just yet. Then move on to simple board books with big pictures and short sentences. And while reading, try to make the experience interactive. Point to pictures and say, "Look, a dog! Woof woof! Can you see the dog?" Let your baby touch the pages and help turn the page. Even if they don't understand every word, they'll learn that books are fun and full of interesting sounds. You'll absolutely be laying the foundation for subsequent literacy development and nurturing their love for reading, which will enrich their life in so many ways beyond language acquisition. One thing to note, just like with singing, it's absolutely okay to read the same thing again and again with very young babies. In fact, babies love repetition and it helps reinforce language patterns.
Sorry guys, I forgot to add, I've made 2 videos where I demonstrate how I read with babies and toddlers. Check them out, links down below.
Tip number 4, use Parentese. You might have heard that it's bad to talk to babies or children using baby talk, that it can hinder their language development, but research has shown that the right kind of baby talk is actually very beneficial. Specifically, we're talking about a way of speaking referred to as Parentese. That's when you speak in a high-pitched, exaggerated voice, slowing down your words and stretching out syllables like, "Ooh, look at that big dog! Hello, doggy!" Sorry, I'm not sure I'm the best person to demonstrate this, but I hope you get the point. It might feel ridiculous, but babies love it. Studies show that Parentese helps babies process speech sounds faster and keeps them engaged longer. So even better, you can combine this tip with tip 1. You can narrate your day using Parentese during everyday interactions, and your baby will love hearing you talk and they'll absorb masses of linguistic input, laying the foundation for fluency later down the line. Before we move on to tip number 5, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that like or subscribe button, as that will really help this channel grow and help me reach more amazing people like you. And if you haven't already, check out my completely free video course, which includes a 15-minute plan with me video and a super comprehensive 45-minute step-by-step guide for parents embarking on this journey. Links down below. Thank you! Tip number 5, repeat common words frequently. Ever noticed how babies love hearing the same thing over and over? That's because repetition is how they learn. If you say the word apple once, it probably won't stick. But if you say it 10 times in different ways, it will. For example, you can say, this is an apple. Oh, look at this red apple. Do you want to hold the apple? Apples are crunchy. Let's take a bite of this apple. Obviously, you don't have to say all this in one go, but you get the general picture, right? By the 20th time they hear the word apple, they're very likely to recognize the word and might even try saying it themselves. That's when they're a bit older, not as newborns, obviously. And it's not just verbs and nouns. You can repeat common phrases too. For example, after feeding, you can say, all done. When leaving the house, you can say, let's go. At bedtime, you can say, night-night. Doing this will strengthen the association between the phrases and the activities, making them easier to remember. It will also create a sense of familiarity, which children really thrive on. This tip is especially relevant when you're raising your child to be bilingual or multilingual, as somewhere down the line, your child will be exposed to more than one language on a daily basis, which will dilute their exposure to each language, if that makes sense. So it will become harder for words to stick in their memory. I've noticed that with my children, it does take lots of repetition for a new word to stick because we're juggling 3 languages. Tip 6. Describe emotions and actions, nurturing emotional intelligence through language. One thing you should talk about with your non-verbal baby is emotions. Trust me when I say that babies and kids have big emotions. Babies experience big feelings from day one, but they don't have the words to express them. That's where you come in. By verbalizing what they feel, you help them identify and process emotions, making it easier for them to communicate their needs as they grow. By describing emotions and actions from the very start, you're not just teaching your baby the target language. You're helping them build emotional intelligence, a skill that will benefit them for life in all areas. So as you go through the day, talk to your baby about their emotions like this. Ooh, Kiki, you're smiling. You look so happy. Oh no, Kiki, I see tears. You're crying now, Kiki. You must be feeling so angry right now. I wonder if you are hungry. And you can also describe your own feelings too. If you're excited, you can say, Mummy is happy because we're going for a walk. If something frustrating happens, you can say something like, oh dear, I dropped my keys. That's a bit annoying, isn't it? Also, remember to use exaggerated facial expressions to match your words. Babies love expressive faces, and it helps them connect emotions with meaning even faster. This constant emotional narration does 2 things. It builds their vocabulary, helping them understand the target language in a meaningful way and gradually build up to verbal fluency. Secondly, it teaches them self-awareness and empathy, giving them the tools to recognize and express their own emotions. Over time, this creates a foundation for emotional regulation and social skills, which are super important skills for your child to have if you want them to become well-rounded, happy individuals. Which is ultimately what we all want for our kids, isn't it? And crucially, for our purpose, it helps increase linguistic input and enrich their vocabulary. Tip number 7, ask questions and pause. Ever felt awkward having a one-sided conversation with your baby? Here's a trick. Ask them questions and pause for a response, even if they can't talk yet. It might sound something like this. Shall we read this book, Kiki? Which page shall we turn first? What color is this ball? It's red. Are you enjoying your apple? It's yummy, isn't it? At first, they might just stare at you. They might burp, but over time, they'll start babbling, making sounds, or even responding with gestures, which is the beginning of conversation. This technique does 2 things. First, it teaches turn-taking, a key skill for speaking and listening. Second, it keeps them engaged. Instead of just passively hearing words, they are participating in the chat, or at least they are given the opportunity, the space to do so. Babies learn language through interaction, so the more you give them the chance to reply by pausing, the more confident they will be when they actually start talking. If your baby makes any noise, or even just a gesture after you ask a question, respond enthusiastically. This reinforces to them that their reply matters. Tip number 8, incorporate language into play. If there's one thing that babies and all kids love, it's play. So why not use it to boost their language skills? Playtime is the perfect opportunity to introduce new words naturally. So instead of just watching them chew on toys or throw things around, which is what babies do, talk through the play. Example, look, the car goes vroom vroom. Oh, this teddy bear is so soft. Let's give him a hug. Where's the blue block? Oh, here it is. This kind of interactive play helps your baby connect words with real-world objects and actions. Toys that encourage language use can be great tools. Think interactive books, talking animals, and puzzles with words. But the best toy is you. Make up little games, act out stories, or create playful role play with stuffed animals. Even super simple games like peekaboo or hide and seek with toys can turn into language-rich experiences. Where is Kiki? Oh, there she is. Kiki is hiding. Now she's back. The more you interact and narrate, the more words your baby will be hearing and absorbing, maximizing that linguistic input they need in order to produce output, i.e. speak the language one day. Quick plug, check out my book Bilingual and Trilingual Parenting 101, link down below, where there's an entire chapter dedicated to low-cost and free activities you can do at home to boost your child's language learning. Tip 9, limit background noise. This is actually one tip I wish I knew 8 years ago. We often had the TV news or radio on in the background at home while doing things with our children, without realizing that too much background noise can make it harder for babies to focus on words and speech patterns. Their little brains are constantly working to pick up new sounds, and if there's a TV blaring or music playing all the time, it can drown out the clear, natural speech they need to absorb. If there's too much noise, babies may struggle to distinguish important sounds, which can slow down the language learning process. That's not to say you have to live in total silence, of course. Come on, new moms sometimes just need to have the TV on, I get it. But do try to create quieter moments during key times, like when you're talking to your baby one-on-one, during story time, reading time, or playtime, or when your baby is trying to babble or respond. And remember, the best way for babies to learn language is real interaction. So the more face-to-face, distraction-free conversations you can have, the better. So there you have it, 9 simple but super effective ways to help your baby start the bilingual journey from day 1. Which of these tips do you already do? Or which one will you try first? Let me know in the comments below. So check out my next video where I offer my top 5 tips for raising a bilingual or even trilingual baby.